So the Rell Seas copyright drama just got serious. And I assume most of you guys know what situation I'm talking about at this point. But for those of you guys that don't, I'll catch y'all up to speed real quick. So essentially it's rumored by the Rell brothers themselves that pretty much every popular anime is gonna have a Roblox game. Or at the very least they're gonna be enforcing copyright. So you can't just make Naruto games or make One Piece games actually using the IP anymore. And that pretty much applies for every anime. And it's even to the point where he said he doesn't even recommend to make a Roblox anime game anymore. It's that bad. And when you consider that's coming from the person making the most hyped up upcoming Roblox anime game right now, that's actually really bad to hear. But part of the reason he says it's not even worth creating anymore is simply because they're not just targeting big games with hundreds of thousands of players anymore. Instead of only going after the games that are stupid popular, apparently they're now going to be intentionally targeting smaller games. Now you guys might be thinking, why do they want to copyright strike small games that really don't even affect them at all? And if I had to guess, the main purpose would essentially just be to scare everybody and let everybody know nobody is safe. Not even Nami Fee Hangout is safe. Like literally nobody. But obviously after this whole situation happened, a lot of people were hoping that Rell Seas would actually be able to buy the One Piece license or the One Piece rights and essentially just be able to use it in Rell Seas. And a while ago, Rellbad did make a post kind of giving us a little bit of information. He essentially said they've already taken some steps to avoid getting copyright strikes, but they're also still taking more steps and they're going to make a video on everything they've done. Well, he said this a few weeks ago and obviously they haven't made that video yet. And there could be a lot of reasons for that, but it looks like we just got probably one of them. Because it looks like the Rell brothers and Rell Games was actually looking into getting the One Piece IP. And for those that don't know, IP means intellectual property, but it's essentially just the rights to use the IP. But Rellbad just gave us an update saying 10 million USD and 80% of your game for the One Piece IP. We ain't making it out of any piece with that. And this news actually has a lot of implications, so let me actually explain what's going on here. So the first thing is, I don't know how serious he's being about the exact price, but if it's really $10 million and 80% of your game, that's just straight up ridiculous. Even for One Piece, I mean, it's just not worth it, especially for a game like Rell Seas that even without the One Piece IP, it's gonna be successful. I mean, let's just think about this logically. Obviously, the One Piece IP would make Rell Seas a better game, but is it gonna make it 80% better and $10 million on top of that better? Because that's how much better it would have to do for it to realistically be worth it. Now, obviously, I'm far from an expert on this situation, but I feel like that 80% of your game part is probably a lot more negotiable than the $10 million. And the main reason I say that is because that 80% of the game will pay a lot different depending on how big the game actually is. So for a game like Fruit Warriors, man, you're gonna have to give like 120%, I would imagine. But for something like Blox Fruits, obviously 30% is gonna pay infinitely more than Fruit Warriors 120%. And for a game like Blox Fruits that's bringing in millions on millions of dollars every month, I wouldn't be surprised if they could easily negotiate that 80% down from somewhere in the range of like 10 to 40%. Now, obviously, I'm not an expert on this situation, and this is just like a general guess based on my logic, but what I'm about to say next honestly sucks to even come out of my mouth. So one of the main GPO devs responded and said, "That's crazy, lol," to the price and whatnot. And then Rellbad responded saying, "For you got it, bro, we going original." So what looks like happened is Rellbad was actually trying to work with them and try to get the IP somehow, even though he probably knew it wasn't gonna happen. But now he realized it, no, it's just not happening and we gotta go original. And obviously Rellbad is trolling. Grand Piece Online is not getting a deal at this price either. So that leads me to an unfortunate conclusion, because based on everything I've heard from Rellbad and just all the information overall, it seems like these anime companies actually know how much these Roblox games are making now. And I would be pretty surprised if they just don't care about an easy opportunity at millions of dollars. And I know some people are gonna say these companies make a lot of money, they don't need to actually get invested in Roblox. And that is true, but at the same time, businesses are always looking for ways to grow, in a way as foolproof as Roblox is looking for them right now, I don't see why they wouldn't actually look into it. So I think most likely one of two different things could happen. The first scenario would be a game that you guys might have heard of called Blox Fruits. I mean, I'm recording this at 5 a.m. and Blox Fruits has 900,000 players. They're really the only game that has the type of money and negotiation power to actually realistically get a deal for the One Piece IP. But honestly, I think there's a good chance that Blox Fruits themselves doesn't even want it. I mean, they really don't need it. They've already taken their game in a direction away from One Piece and they're doing fine with it. And if Blox Fruits did decide to make their game a full-fledged One Piece game, there would be problems in the future. Like, I'm pretty sure these IP deals are only for a certain amount of time, so let's say like 2 years. So the first thing Blox Fruits would have to do is make everything in their game One Piece again. And you're probably thinking that can't hurt, but honestly, at the size Blox Fruits is, where they have a lot of players that don't even know what One Piece is, it realistically could hurt the game. Now, I'm not saying it's likely, it would most likely still help the game, I'm just saying it's possible. But then even after that, they might have to make a transition in like 2 years or 4 years or something, where they would have to change it back because they don't have the IP anymore, they don't have the license. So there's a good chance if Blox Fruits actually did this, they'd have to risk changing up their game again, so then they'd be changing up their whole game 2 different times. And they they definitely could do this successfully, but I just don't think it's really worth the risk. They're paying money to have to put a lot of risk in as well. And I personally don't think the owners of Blox Fruits care enough about One Piece to really make that risk worth it. So if we assume Blox Fruits doesn't want to make the deal, what's the other likely scenario? And honestly, this might be the worst possible scenario. And it would probably be another Game Fam My Hero Academia Battleground scenario. They would probably pay a company like Game Fam, maybe not Game Fam specifically, but a different company to make a One Piece game for them. And the main reason that could be possible is because if they can't get a deal with Blox Fruits or Rell Seas or any of the current One Piece games, I mean, they probably are still going to want a slice of that pie. And if they can't make a deal with the current One Piece game, the only other way to get a slice of that pie and get some of that money, they're going to have to make their own game. Now, I'm really curious what you guys think is going to happen. In my opinion, it really just comes down to how interested they actually are in the Roblox space. And if I had to bet, I would assume they're really interested when they see how many players Blox Fruits is getting, and it's not even a full-fledged One Piece game. And I just honestly can't see these corporations turning down this type of opportunity for no reason. Now, I've seen a lot of people say this whole situation is actually good news, because obviously if Rell Seas can't afford the IP, obviously not a lot of games and companies are going to be able to. And I do understand where this whole perspective is coming from, but to be honest, I really don't think this is going to do much. I mean, maybe I'm the one tripping here, but I can't be the only person that would have rather had Rell Seas get a reasonable deal for the One Piece rights instead of nobody except maybe Blox Fruits being able to afford to buy them. But either way, let me know what you guys think. Is this good news, bad news, great news, mid news? I don't even know. But only about 20% of y'all are subscribed, so if you want to hit that like and subscribe button, it helps the channel out a lot, and I'd appreciate it. Thank y'all, love y'all, later.